ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। We are discussing about essentials of meditative life. Today's first point is how to meditate. If you want to follow the formless meditation, merge your body, mind, the whole world and everything into God. Think, I am a little sphere of light, and the Supreme Being is the infinite sphere of light, shining everywhere. But so long as we have body consciousness and too much of the sense of personality, we cannot practice this type of meditation. So, now think that your soul is putting on a pure subtle body, that is mental body, and a pure physical body, and that the infinite spirit takes the form of the Ishtadevata, the divine ideal we worship. Now, visualize in the infinite divine light, which is also infinite love and infinite bliss. We have the devotee and we have the deity, who is the embodiment of infinite light, infinite love and bliss. Repeat some appropriate divine name, that is mantra, and meditate on him. First of all, meditate on the blissful, luminous divine form of the Ishtadevata. Then meditate on his infinite purity, his infinite love, his infinite compassion. Finally, meditate on his infinite consciousness in which he is as it were drowned. What happens? As one goes on repeating the divine name and meditating on the divine being, moving from one aspect to another, a remarkable change takes place. Through moral practice, we succeed, as I said, in establishing an amount of harmony, but the harmony that is established by meditating on the Lord is of a superior kind. When real harmony is established in our mind, in our soul, in a spontaneous way, we feel we are in touch with the cosmic harmony. Even our body is a part of the cosmic body, the Virata Purusha. Our mind is a part of the cosmic mind, the Hiranyagarbha. Our soul is a part of the cosmic spirit, the Swara. Many who practice spiritual discipline and meditation attain to this state of consciousness. If we follow the way of japa and meditation correctly, we are sure to be blessed with some form of divine vision, some form of divine experience. That increases our faith and makes our mind steady in the path of meditation. Our mind wants to run away from the object of meditation, but through the practice of moral culture, we should succeed in minimizing these disturbances of the mind. And further, as we do our japa and meditation, we give the mind a certain theme, that is the divine name we repeat and the divine form we visualize. All these serve to focus the mind and hold our attention within. We must think of him with a little love in our heart. When there is some love and devotion in our heart for the chosen ideal, it becomes easy for us to follow the path of japa and meditation. And what japa and meditation do is this: they keep the mind engaged. They hold it within. The name, the divine form, and the idea, along with love for God, keep the mind concentrated within. When our interest in the object of meditation becomes greater than our interest in outside things, the object of meditation becomes more and more real to us. The mind, at least for a little while, dwells on the Supreme Spirit, dwells on divine blissful form, dwells on the noble attributes. Then comes the time when one feels the divine presence. In the lives of spiritual seekers, we find that at this stage, many are blessed with the spiritual vision of the divine form. The divine being manifests himself in some aspect or other. He then becomes the Guru. The next point is the Guru is within. Our teachers tell us that the Guru is within. We may take the help of an outside teacher at the beginning of our spiritual life, but as we advance, we find the real Guru is inside, and we must place ourselves at the feet of the divine Guru within. He takes the disciple step by step from lower rungs of spiritual experience to higher and higher rungs. That is what happened to the saints we have met. If we know how to tune our minds properly, we can hear the experiences of saints, their songs, the outpouring of their hearts, the expression of their spiritual realizations, their instructions. These experiences actually take place if we sincerely follow the spiritual path. After having fulfilled some of the conditions, we are sure to get some spiritual results. Next point, self-surrender to the Lord. The results of meditation are sure to follow, but as we go on with our japa and meditation, let us not look for the results too much. Results will come by themselves. By being over anxious about the results, we will be forgetting to do our spiritual practice properly. And here comes the most important question of self-surrender. Patanjali, the yoga teacher, says, by sacrificing all to Ishvara comes samadhi. Surrender yourself completely. Offer all the fruits of your labor, of your spiritual practice to the Supreme Being. Learn to connect your little will to the divine will, and then a miracle takes place. That truth, that reality which shines within, which also shines outside in all beings, reveals itself in all its glory, and then comes the communion between the soul and the oversoul. Swami Vivekananda has given us a definition of religion. It is the eternal relation between the eternal soul and the eternal God. But in order to realize this, we have to practice various disciplines with single-minded devotion. Next point, cultivate a definite attitude. Here comes a very important question of finding out where you stand. Find out with what attitude you have to approach the Supreme Being. Very few of us are competent to approach the Supreme Being as the soul of our souls. We are like children. We want to depend on the Divine Being just as a child depends on the father or the mother. We need a friend. We need a life's companion. We need one who would love us, whom we can make the center of our love, the center of our emotion. Now, the Lord is there. He is manifest in these countless divine forms and relations. Take up any one of them. In our study of the various sects of Hinduism, we find that the devotee begins his spiritual life with the worship of God as the master, as the father, as the mother, or even as the divine child. There are devotees who would like to love the Lord as child Krishna or child Rama. Other devotees would like to worship the mother of the universe in her different aspects as Durga, Kali, Uma, or Kumari. Through all these forms of worship or meditation, the mind and heart become pure. As has already been said, the pure that we attain through the practice of morals is not enough. We want a higher type of purity, the purity that enables the soul to detach itself not only from the body, the senses, and the mind, but also from the little ego, the last bondage that the soul has to overcome. And this is possible only in the higher type of worship or meditation we have described above. Next point is oneself in all. The union between the Atman and the Paramatman is to be brought about. And as the Supreme Being, the Supreme Teacher reveals His glory, the devotee realizes that the God he has been worshipping is not only inside but is also manifest in all. And then begins a new life, a fuller life, as Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in the Gita. With the heart concentrated by yoga, with the eye of evenness for all things, he beholds the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Now the devotee realizes that the Atman that is inside is also outside, and seeing the Lord manifest in all, he worships Him in everyone. Now next point is for one's own salvation and the world's welfare. Now here is a point to understand. Even long before we attain this higher spiritual experience, even when we are worshipping only the personal aspect of God, something of this higher universal attitude must be cultivated. If I approach God looking upon Him as the master and myself as the servant, let me not at the same time forget my fellow beings. We are all servants of the Supreme Spirit. If we look upon God as our father or mother, then let us look upon our fellow beings as children of the same God. If we are bold enough to think of God as the soul of our souls, then let us remember we are all fellow souls eternally connected with the Supreme Spirit, and through our connection with the Supreme Spirit, connected with one another. Then our life takes a new turn. The great ones who told us work and worship should go hand in hand told us also, hold this ideal before you for one's own salvation and for the good of the world. You have to strive for your own spiritual illumination or spiritual freedom. At the same time, strive to promote the welfare of all. The illumined soul alone can see God in everyone, and his service is spontaneous. But those of us who are still in ignorance must strongly imagine that we are all connected with one another through the Divine Spirit. And as we try to promote our welfare, let us also try to promote the welfare of all. Here, the instruction we received, work and worship should go hand in hand, comes to have a new meaning. As we progress in meditation, as we try to grow inwardly, we should work not only for the members of our family, but also for the welfare of others. What a beautiful order would have been in the world if this were practiced. If each of us thought of others as he would think of himself, we would surely get much more. Ordinarily, in a selfish mode, we think, well, I am interested only in myself. But when the outlook broadens, we feel we are all parts of a greater whole, and then we feel great kinship and nearness with everybody. And when everybody tries to apply the ideal of work and worship in actual life with this outlook, our lives will become sweeter and fruitful, and spiritual awareness will be an accomplished fact. And as we do our spiritual practice and service, let us not be egocentric. Let us offer all the fruits of our labor to the Supreme Spirit. Sri Ramakrishna has said, if we move towards God one step, He comes towards us 10 steps. It is a fact to be realized in the world of the Spirit. So proceed. May the Supreme Spirit ever protect and guide you and fill your heart with His divine presence, purity, love and bliss. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओं तत्सत्।